माथि दुःख छ अनि यार जलपडिया पुल टप्पु टुप्पु गरी टाढा अन्नु हुँदैछ लोटु छ मुखन त छोरो पनि छैन छोरी पनि छैन त्यसै दुःख गरी खानु छ गाह्रो छ यो उखालो त बाहिर पुगी आउनु लौरो चाहिँ कि आउनु गाह्रो
Nepal, located in the Himalayas, it is a landlocked country that is just south of the Tibetan region of China. Western visitors come to this tiny country mainly to go trekking among its numerous scenic trails. The terrain may be steep and treacherous, but trekkers are rewarded with breathtaking views of river gorges and snow-capped mountains. Many have described trekking in Nepal as a spiritual journey. Kathmandu, Nepal's capital, situated at an elevation of approximately 4,600 feet above sea level, Kathmandu is a major metropolis with a population of almost 1.4 million inhabitants. Cars, buses, motorcycles, scooters, and pedestrians all seem to be in a hurry to get to their destinations. An important part of Nepal's economy is tourism. Tourists come to visit many of the ancient temples and historic sites, such as the former royal palace at Durbar Square and the giant Buddha Stupa. Surrounding the giant stupa are many shops where visitors can buy handmade arts and crafts. The tourists also come to learn about the ancient customs and traditions. Prayer beads are made by hand. And the proper way to walk around the stupa is in the clockwise direction. The two main religions are Hinduism and Tibetan Buddhism. They coexist harmoniously with each other. Buddhist monks meditate in prayer, receive alms, and give blessings to ordinary folks. They can also be seen enjoying cappuccinos inside Western-style cafes, and even using their cell phones. But there is another part of Nepal that visitors don't always see: the many tiny villages that are scattered throughout the remote regions. Over 23 million people live in these villages, or almost 80% of Nepal's total population. These villagers are largely self-sufficient. They plow the land with farm animals, grow their own crops, harvest the wheat, and pound seeds and nuts by hand, just as their ancestors had done for many generations. One such village is Bargaon. Tucked away in the extreme northwest corner of Nepal, it is part of Humla, one of 10 districts in the Karnali province. The village is near the border of Tibet and is situated at an altitude of almost 10,000 feet above sea level. Bargaon was established several generations ago when nomads from Tibet had migrated over the border and settled there. The villagers still speak the Tibetan language and have kept their Tibetan religion, culture, and traditions. In order to get to the village, you would need to take a domestic flight from Kathmandu to Nepalgunj in the southwestern portion of Nepal, stay overnight, and take another flight to Simikot. Once you land in Simikot, you would already be at an elevation of about 9,500 feet above sea level. From Simikot, you would have to trek for about 3 hours to Bargaon, down one mountain, across a river, and up and around another mountain. Because the trails are steep, narrow, and treacherous, the only way to get to the village is on foot. But the views are simply stunning. In order to help the village of Bargon, the Protostar group began with the working assumption that one of the village's most difficult challenges was having to trek a long way to the water mills to grind wheat into flour. Installing electric mills in the village would make life much easier for the villagers. On the way to Bargon, Gary Poon, the president of the Protostar group, and his special projects manager, Doje Wangchaklama, stopped by one of the water mills. The typical Tibetan diet includes unleavened bread, or roti, noodles, and yellow rice. In order to make roti and noodles, the villagers must grind the wheat into flour. To do so, they would have to trek about 2 hours to the nearest water mills by the river, sometimes wait in line, and trek another 2 hours back to the village, carrying the heavy flour on their backs. Under the Tibetan culture, this task falls almost exclusively on the women.
गट्ट पिसिनु हुन्छ मसिनो हुन्छ मसिनो हाम्रो गट्ट जाति मसिनो हुन्छ दुःख त जाति दुःख छ त्यो अनिएर जलपडिया पुरो टप्पु टुप्पु गरी टाढो हान्नु हुँदछ लोटु छ घाँ पर्छ छाबा पनि लाग्दो छ भूत पनि लाग्दो छ वहाँ त मकन त छोरो पनि छैन छोरी पनि छैन त्यसै दुःख गरी खानु छ यो दुःख नगरिकन मकन रोटो पाउँदैन घाँस पाउँदैन दुःख गरे पुरो त म मरिजाने छ अब के गर्नु टाढो कति छ
गाउँमा अहिले एउटा मात्र घट्ट छ है अहिले गाउँभित्र एउटा मात्र घट्ट छ एउटा घट्ट छ अनि एउटा घट्टमा पालो कतिको पाउँछ पाउँदैन
जो अयर आयो उही पिन्दैछ उही पछाडि जो आयो उही पिन्दैछ उही पछाडि जो आयो उही पिन्दैछ अब यहाँ पालो अनुसार पिन्दैछ अघि पछिको पालो अनुसार पिन्दैछ टाढो जान्छ ग्याग्रो जान्छ
ग्याग्रो जानलाई कति टाइम लाग्छ तपाईहरुलाई
एक परी स्यालो जान्छ हाम्रो पारी स्यालो छ 2 घण्टा छ पर स्यालो जानु गाडो छ यो उखालो त बाहिर पुगी आउनु लौरो चाहिँ आउनु गाडो छ
भनेपछि घट्टमा खाना आफै बनाएर खानुहुन्छ है
बोक्ला यहाँबाट आफै रोटो हाली अब यो ढुङ्गो तपाईँ रोटो हाली खानु हिउँ पर्नु बेला त के गर्नु त्यो गेड भोगाउनु त भएन त्यसै अझ हिउँ फुई आइकन पिन्दै पर्यो
के छैन पहिले बत्तीबाट चल्ने एउटा घट्ट ल्याएर गाउँमा राख्दियो भने तपाईहरुलाई कस्तो होला
निकै हुने धर्म लाग्ने जन धर्म लाग्ने जन हामी सबै ऐसे दिउँला
As required by protocol, Gary first met with the village elders. Doje, who was born and raised in Bargon, helped with the translation between English and the Tibetan language.
They have here is something that we need to learn from.
양기 સમસ્યા가 아시다만 야 주다도 현에 야 주다 현에 양매다 양매다 야 들으면 주다 다도 계셔도 기름을 절돼 이게 자설돼 어두낭 알아 어찌링 알았어요 그런 상한데 다 이는 다 자초보다 다 우르려면 세다 배배보다
당아 समस्या 주다가 समस्या도 가서 받으려고 최설디 최설도 समस्या니 당원동안디 त्यादी इन्नाने ओदी गाला बिटोक्सी गाइदि दांद्रं गांग बगाल गाइ नांदो बिजि लागाति गाइ बितान
So what he was committing.
우찌리 가방서 가나도 빈. 땡아 와라테 땡 예부전 설간디 고정수 야다. 권적 20살 권적 22도 가야 되는 거야.
아니야.
그 라가비는 라가치아지 셔벌도 다다지. 라가치아지 셔벌도 다다지. 어디 권적 20도 민마 정보 권적 20도 랑게 가당 권적 20도 어디다. 리뷰 미게 리뷰 자체 킵도 듣고 무시했다데 상제의 강남 손나오더라고. 대 어디 나라 띠도 봐. 나 몰음 답도다.
Again, keeping with protocol, the village elders must be the first ones to tell the rest of the village the good news. They called a meeting of the heads of the households, who were predominantly men. The community meeting house was packed because it had snowed overnight, which kept the men from working in the fields. Gary asked that the women from the women's group also attend the meeting, as they were the ones most affected by this project.
Your welcoming me really gives warmth to my heart.
अनि उ यस्तो ठाउँमा आएर तपाईहरु भेट्नु पनि उसको लागि एकदम खुसी लाग्यो अनि तपाईहरु जति राम्रो स्वागत गर्नु उसको लागि को
Even though we live the opposite side of the world, we're still part of one community. So therefore, we would like to send our greetings and to send our any help that we can provide to your community, and we would like your input on what your needs are so we can consider them for our company Protostar.
दिदी nga기 ग्रुप रन 총 एब जुङसमान खेप्साङकी जाक्सै छुटाएर देश विदेश nga ठाउँलाई लाखा बिगना ग्रुप ngaगी खोजी ngaगी ग्रुप नाङलाई खोजी ngaगी दिदा चेन्जले होबेतिगले तपाईहरुले काम के गर्ने छ त्यो काम सिकाउने त्यसपछि तपाईहरु आफै यहाँ भएको राङ दिन सक द सिम चिन रिसोर्स छि हो त दिने राङकी राङ बिजनेसदि राङ बिजा राङ बिजनेसदि ngai lo kuti support bija kang bu ru ni la ka tang lo cha
porque apolo English yo polo tungden dongje de nga te ku te dongje kwa morgu se jala targa o chili o khabu o minimum nyungkha thor ala morgu se ganne ina la nga tamsur kurgo chudak de china ma sa wonnang chudak dam dam ma sa menang chudak dam dam
By the end of the meeting, Gary promised to purchase an industrial-grade electric mill. He also agreed to buy an oil pressing machine and a rice husking machine. Minutes were taken of the meeting and signed by everyone. Gary then sent Protostar's special projects manager, Doje, to purchase the machines from India and had them flown by plane to Simikot, the district capital. The villagers were then responsible for the Herculean task of hand-carrying the heavy machines on the 3-hour trek back to Bargon. That job fell exclusively on the men of Bargon. Once the machines were brought back to the village, the next task was to install them. The villagers had previously built a stone structure in order to protect the machines from the harsh elements. The villagers used stone, metal rods, and cement to reinforce the structure. This would become the village's mill house. The machines had to be bolted down securely to ensure their safe operation. A lot of planning went into where they would place the 3 machines in the mill house. The men used whatever tools and supplies they had at their disposal. Protostar also hired an outside technician to help with the setup. The technician made sure there was enough power in the village to run the machines. He then wired the machines properly and taught the villagers how to operate them safely and maintain them in good working order. Protostar even made sure that the machines had a 1-year warranty. Everybody in the village pitched in to help. The machines are finally ready to be used. Now, instead of trekking 2 hours to the watermills, grinding wheat into flour is just a short walk to the center of the village. In addition to the electric mill, the villagers could now use the rice husking and oil pressing machines. Unlike rice that is grown in the tropics, the yellow rice that is native to these high altitudes has a hard shell. The villagers used to have to pound the rice manually in order to separate the husk from the grains of rice. That task also fell exclusively on the women. Now, all they have to do is put the unshelled rice into the rice husking machine, and the machine will do all the work for them. The oil pressing machine allows the villagers to press their own cooking oil right in their own village. They no longer have to trek 3 hours to the district capital of Simikot to buy oil.
다들면 도 타간치, 도 타간까, 고도 타간까, 나 타간까, 짬바 타간까, 사각부서 배버그 강부 타간. 밑에 여부 알아가 여부낭도 서도 시다. 여부 중성 기투 중성 강부 서도. 또 알 기투 조성 부자 강부 서도, 부자 강부 서도. 아 관일에 여부서 도시나 그 संस्था들 여부서 과가준 집 중성 알 시다 오전 그 거럭도 이상 알 시다. 직번더니 순담을 결성서도 바로 또 바르가 니가라 또 야롱을 바르가 어버 장랑알도 되어져 강부 야롱은
घट्टा परि हिल्दोमा खोला परि बुरंसे हिउँदा त गाडो हुन्छ त हिउँ यतिमा कुण्डामा आएपछि त खानै हुँदैन धुलो पिन्नु अठ झन् जाइ हाकिँदैन कहिले घट्टै हिउँ पडाला आउनै हाइती बिहान भोकै बाइजान भयो कहिले घट्ट नपाएपछि बाहा हुनु दुःख हुन्छ 3 गुन्टालो लागि जान्छ बारी हात हिल्दोमा बुरंसे खोला पुग्दा अहिले त सुविधा हात त्यति पिन्नु अहिले पोरी बुढाउँछ अहिले त म खोला जाने भए तिमी जाऊ भने यता टाढा गट्टा भारी बोकेको जाने भन्दा हामी यही जानुपर्ने अब अहिले त अब यिनीकन जाऊ श्रीमानकन जाऊ भने पनि भयो छोराकन ना यता त छोरीकन जाऊ भने पनि भयो यति बोकी पिनी ल्याइ आइजने हिँड्छ अब यति संस्थाले घट्ट ल्यायो धन्यवाद त निकै गर्यो हुक गर्यो सुख सुविधै गर्यो हामी टाढा हटेर जानुहुन्छ अब निराती भयो उसै पिन्नु खानु भयो चिनु कुर्ने पनि छ अब एकगन 10 पाती भए पनि कुर्नु पर्यो 5 पाती भए पनि कुर्नु पर्यो खुब बना त हुक छ त संस्थाले घट्ट ल्यायो चिनु कुर्ने ल्यायो तेल पेल्ले पनि ल्यायो हबै ल्याइ सुविधा भएन
छुटिया
अहिले यो मिल आउँदाखेरि बिहान आएर काम घट्टै पिसेर घरको काम पनि हुन्थ्यो अब यहाँ एक दिनको बिहानदेखि बेलुकासम्म एक दिन लाग्थ्यो भने 25 केजीको अहिले 1 क्विन्टल पिस्दाखेरि 1 घण्टा लाग्थ्यो 1 घण्टाले यो गाउँलेलाई आइमाईलाई एकदम सुविधा भएछ र यो तेल पेल्दाखेरि पनि प्रति 1 किलोको 2 दिन लाग्थ्यो भने कुटाउँदा पेल्दा अहिले 15 मिनेटमा काम सिद्धिन्छ अब यो चिनो पनि 1-2 किलो कुट्दाखेरि 1 दिन लाग्छ भने हामीलाई अहिले 20 केजी 1 घण्टामा कुटिन्छ अब यो आधुनिक घट्टा ल्याइदिएकोमा धोर्जेको संस्थालाई मुरी धन्यवाद टक्राउन चाहन्छु
त यी छुदा हुँदैन माल पे कित जुङ ta
छुदा मैमै दा हो
ma da ngalla pe dukbu ta tingla yi ta yi संस्थालाई त मा ta yi छुदा खुङजाको सोङला रिसोर्स च्यानल देछ खुङ माने जुङ त तिरिङमा ta छुदा बर्खर लेप्छु ta yi छुदा तेल जुङ नान्ना त पे दुक्बु जुङ छुदा त इदिले गुन्छो बहुत छुदा खुङ त फाल त टासो हुन सक्दैन म टासो खाला.
The villagers are very happy to have the machines so close to their homes. It is a modern convenience they did not have before. They bid farewell to the Protostar group and showered them with many blessings. Both men and women now come to the mill house not just to grind wheat into flour, but also to share the latest news and gossip.